Bismillahirrohmanirrohim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable examiners of this final examination, good morning or good afternoon. In this special occasion, I am Intan Inggis, a student of Office Administration of Education 2018, Faculty Academic, University of Jakarta. I would like to thank you, the examiners who have given me opportunity to present about my thesis with the title, The Effect of Workload, Work Stress, and Work-Family Conflict on Burnout in Employees. Well, my thesis consists of 5 chapters. First, introduction. Second, literature review. Third, research method. 4, result and discussion, and the last is conclusion. First, I will explain the background of this research. This research is motivated by the work from home policy that is widely applied by several companies in Indonesia as a form of change in the world of work caused by COVID-19. These policies can be an obstacle for employees in achieving good performance. In its application, sometimes employees experience excessive workload. The increase in workload can stem from employees affected by layoffs where their jobs will be delegated to employees who are not affected by layoffs. In addition to increased workload, stress can also arise when employees meet job demand during work from home. Role imbalance will also if employees are unable to balance the two roles, namely roles in work and family, which in turn can trigger burnout in employees. If employees experience burnout, employee performance will be poor and the phase of company development will be disrupted. In accordance with the statement that Lutan put forward in his research, so I do free research as a form of proving this statement. Here are the results of the free research. Based on the free research result in the table of factors that affect burnout, that the biggest factor that can affect burnout in the company is workload with a percentage of 26%, then work-family conflict with 23%, and work stress occupies the third position with a percentage of 19%. The table goes on to explain that most employees experience burnout, which is characterized by physical burnout, is the highest indicator among other indicators tested. Next, the problem summary and research purpose are the basic concept and direction in this research. The problem summary and research purpose can be seen in the following slide. The next discussion is a literature review, is the theories of relevant research, theoretical frameworks, and hypotheses. The following is the definition from expert regarding the variable in this research, which can be seen in the following slide. For workload theory, I took theory from the Dewi Sartika in 2020, and work stress theory from Oliva in 2020, then the work-family conflict theory from Saputra in 2020, and the burnout theory from Ari in the same year. Next slide. The following is an earlier research that is relevant to I research. The first research with title Workload and Work Stress study impacted burnout on Indonesia seafaring workers by Rowley, Sijabat and Reni Hermawati in 2021. The second research, we titled The Effect of Workload, Work Stress, and Work-Family Conflict on Burnout in Female Employees, Bank Nagari Padang Main Branch, a company by Siska Noperti in 2020. The third research, with the title Workload Affect Burnout in the Variable Work-Family Conflict as a Mediator of the Work of Imade, Agus Putrawijaya in 2020. The fourth research, with title Work-Family Conflict on Burnout, the Mediating of Work Stress by Gita and Mega Asrijona in 2020. From a previous research, here I will confirm that my research is different from previous research. Although there are similarities in this research variable, the object of research, the objectives and research method that I use in this research are differentiating from previous. In order for the research to be well directed in accordance with the objectives of this research, the following is the conceptual framework of this research. With the first hypothesis, there is an influence between workload and burnout. The second hypothesis, there is influence between work stress and burnout. The third hypothesis, there is an influence between work-family conflict and burnout. And the fourth hypothesis, there is an influence between workload, work stress, and work-family conflict and burnout. Next is the research method. This research was conducted at the PBI company with the research time from January to November. While the research design used its quantitative approach, the population in this research was all employees of the company, which numbered 60 people. Because the population is relatively small, the entire population is used as a sample. As for the sampling technique using the census method, in the development of the instrument, all variables in this research were measured by indicator adapted from expert totaling 4 indicator per variable. Meanwhile, the data collection process used questionnaires that are distributed directly to respondents, and for data analysis using statistical technique with data processing using the SPSS program. Next, based on the acquisition of data from questionnaires that have been distributed to respondents, a profile of respondent was obtained, which I classified based on gender, age, latest education, length of service, division, and marital status. By gender, male workers dominate the company with 44 people, or as many as 73%. Then, based on age, workers with an age range of 25 until 35 years become the highest number, namely 26 people, or 43%. Next, based on the latest education, vocational high school graduates dominate respondents with a total of 24 people, or 40%. Based on length of service, respondents with a working period of under 2 years become the highest number, namely 26 people, or 44%. Meanwhile, a respondent from the production division dominate as much as 15%. Meanwhile, based on marital status, workers who have a family dominate with 38 people, or 63%. Next slide. is the statistical descriptive of the dependent variable in this research is burnout, which consists 3 tables and 1 histogram, including a data description table, a frequency distribution table, and a table of average burnout variable indicator scores. Next, descriptive statistic of the independent variable in this research are workload, work stress, and work family conflict, consisting of 3 tables and 1 histogram, including a data description table, a frequency distribution table, and a table of average independent variable indicator score in this research. Based on the table and figures of the normality test result, it can be stated that all variables in this research are normally distributed with significance value greater than 5%. And the fault position in the figure are scattered following a diagonal line. Next, the result of the linearity test based on the 3 ANOVA table seen on the slide. It can be concluded that there is a linearity relationship between the independent variable and the dependent variable as evidenced by the test of linearity value and the division value from linearity of the independent variable to the dependent variable has a qualified significance value. From the coefficient table, it can be concluded that in this research there were no symptoms of multicollinearity that can be proven by the tolerance value of independent variable greater than 0.10 and the VIF value smaller than 10. Next, the result of scatter plot images and a correlation table proved that in this research there were no symptoms of heteroscedasticity with the significance value of the independent variable greater than 5% and the position of the plot in the images spread randomly and did not form pattern. Okay. Based on the regression equation formula obtained from the coefficient table, it can be concluded that the independent variable in this research, namely workload, work stress, and work family conflict, have a positive influence on burnout with a positive regression coefficient value. Okay, based on the result of the t-test seen in the coefficient table, it proves that the workload has a positive and insignificant effect on burnout with a calculated t-value smaller than the t-table and a significance value greater than 5%. Meanwhile, work stress and work family conflict have a positive and significant effect on burnout with a calculated t-value greater than t-table and significance value smaller than 5%. The next table, namely the result of the F-test, proves that the independent variable, namely workload, work stress, and work family conflict, have a positive and significant influence of the dependent variable, namely burnout, with a calculated value greater than F table and a significant value smaller than 5%. Next, the table of determination coefficient test. From the table obtained and a value of R squared of 0.894 or 89.4%, meaning that the values show that workload, work stress, and work family conflict contributed to influencing burnout by 89.4%. The remaining 10.6% was influenced by other variables outside of this research. Based on the description of the result of the analysis along with the discussion that has been explained earlier, it can be concluded that firstly, the workload can have a positive and insignificant effect on burnout in employees. Next, partial work stress can have a positive and significant effect on burnout in employees. Partial work-family conflict have a positive and significant effect on burnout in employees. And in terms of workload, work stress, and work-family conflict can have positive and significant effect on burnout in employees. Based on the discussion that has been explained, there are several suggestions that I want to confirm, namely for companies to be advised to pay more attention to the suitability of work with the abilities of their employees. In addition, the comfort factor of employees also need to be considered so that employees are not overwhelmed with stress when working. Also, provide opportunities and time for employees to spend their time with their families. For subsequent researches, it is advisable to examine other variables apart from the variable used in this study. Okay, I would like to thank the lecturer and also the audience. I apologize for all my limitation and shortcoming in the presentation of this thesis. I will accept any correction provided by the lecturer. I close this presentation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.